given everything that has been happening over the last several years and just thinking through our own well-being, I see a lot of value in the program that we have on campus, Wise and Well. And I think that you're going to enjoy what we're doing for our SA2, because if you use it effectively, we're learning about ourselves and about writing and about detail and about research, but we're also using this to assess ourselves, self-reflect, and think about ways that we can improve in order to improve our level of wellness in one of these areas of wellness that we're going to look into. So there's several things that I wanted to show you in this video, and it's going to be a quick video here, but I wanted to show you first off the Wise and Well programming that we have. So I'll share my screen here. If you Google Lone Star College Wise and Well, you'll get to this page, and it just tells you a little bit more about what is on offer at Lone Star. There are several classes that are going on right now that are wellness themed courses, and the program has some really cool initiatives and goals and ways to support your wellness. When we talk about wellness, we're talking about well-being. In other words, different forms of health that we experience, and building up our wellness in these different categories is something that can really support us having a happy and fulfilled life, where we deal with hopefully less stress, or better able to manage our stress, better able to enjoy what we're doing on a daily basis, and have a greater sense of the quality of life that we are involved with, that we enjoy. Okay, so there are, ways to stay connected to the Wise and Well program. They're here on the screen. They have an Instagram here. They have a website. They have events that pop up that you may see emails about through your Lone Star email. The gym on campus is doing something connected to the wellness initiative also. There are just really great things happening on campus. I know that we are a virtual class, we're online, but if you are interested in going to campus or seeing or participating in any of the Wise and Well activities, I wanted you to know that they are out there. So for what we are going to do, we're going to start by getting to know the 6 dimensions of wellness in this particular model that the college is using. And I'll say before we look at these that this is just one way to define wellness. It's one model that's out there. It's a really solid model. It's the basis for the National Wellness Institute, and it's dividing wellness into 6 categories or dimensions. There are other categories of wellness that could be added to this model. So, and you'll see that when we kind of look at this. So I just want you to know that this is not the end all be all of wellness. This is just getting started thinking about 6 dimensions of wellness. So I'm going to show you a handout, and this handout is also posted. There's a link to this handout in the week 4 materials under content. But this handout is going to describe 6 dimensions of wellness here. So thinking about occupational wellness, we're talking about wellness in our work, in our occupations. I'm making that a little bit larger there. And also our aspirations. So as you see, each category is described on this handout. So occupational recognizes personal satisfaction and enrichment in one's life through work. At the center of occupational wellness is the premise that occupational development is related to one's attitude about work. And so traveling a path toward your occupational wellness, you'll contribute your unique gifts, skills, talents to work. It's both personally meaningful and rewarding. Convey your values through your involvement in activities that are gratifying to you. And the choice of profession, job satisfaction, career ambitions, and personal performance are all important components of your path's terrain. We're all here in English 1301 because it's going to support some kind of goal that you have out there in terms of a connection to an occupation. Whether we know what that occupation is or not, that's different for everybody. I noticed a lot of you know what your goals are as you posted about these goals already in class. So occupational wellness for us also is going to involve the work that we do through school, and thinking about how to use our gifts, skills, and talents there, and how to decide which classes we're taking so that we're we're furthering our development towards this eventual occupation that we want to reach. So you can include school in there because school is really a big part of the work that you're doing at this moment. So occupational wellness is just one of the categories that you see here on the screen. We also have emotional, spiritual, intellectual, social, and physical. So thinking about this, you're, I think, probably noticing that this does not encompass all potential aspects of wellness, but it covers a lot of the major areas. Mental health issues, for our purposes, we're going to go ahead and place that in the emotional category here, although mental health can really encompass a lot of the different categories that you see here. And depending on what mental health issue may be going on, that may be categorized differently. Okay, so, but for our purposes, we're going to consider that in the emotional category if you're interested in exploring something connected to that. So I did want to point out that spiritual, this category here, it's really important to read the description of this dimension of wellness here, because it may encompass religion or a faith-based, situations or beliefs, but it also may not. So spiritual wellness has to do with, and I'll read the description here too, recognizes our search for meaning and purpose in human existence, development for a deep appreciation for the depth and expanse of life and natural forces that exist in the universe. We're thinking about our ability to think about the purpose behind life, or the greater elements involved in our existence here. So your search will be characterized by a peaceful harmony between internal personal feelings and emotions and rough and rugged stretches of your path. So we're talking about developing our understanding over time about a deeper meaning. While traveling the path, you may experience many feelings of doubt, despair, fear, disappointment, and dislocation, as well as feelings of pleasure, joy, happiness, and discovery. And these are all important experiences and components to your search. Okay, so spiritual wellness follows these tenets. It's better to ponder the meaning of life for ourselves and be tolerant of the beliefs of others than to close our minds and become intolerant. It's better to live each day in a way that's consistent with our values and beliefs than to do otherwise and feel untrue to ourselves. So please notice that spiritual in this category is going to be different for everybody. It may or may not include religious beliefs. But the spiritual category has to do with our understanding of a deeper meaning and purpose, and the journey that we kind of go on in developing that. Okay, so all of these descriptions, and I point those out to the two that I pointed out, because the description here may add a lot to your understanding of those dimensions, or may challenge what you would have assumed is involved in that dimension. So please, whatever dimension of wellness that you're going to investigate this week, make sure that you've read the description of that particular form of wellness through this handout that you have here, and make sure that you're thinking about this wellness in the way that the model is propagating here. Okay, so those are the 6 dimensions of wellness. You'll also see a link to the National Institute of Wellness website, which is another great way to start exploring wellness. For what we are going to do, I'm going to show you the prompt sheet that we're going to use for our essay 2. The purpose behind this paper is that we're going to develop our writing skills by focusing on detail, thoughtfulness, planning, and also I want to show you that research can be out there, not just for academic purposes, but also for personal development and growth. So we're going to be looking into some sources that can help us in developing our wellness. Here's what we're going to be doing. I'm going to show you this prompt sheet here. Let me just share my screen. And this is also posted in the week 4 module. Okay, so Wellness Essay 2 is going to have you select one of the 6 categories of wellness here, one of the 6 dimensions, and I'm using dimension and category interchangeably. So this is going to be based on a dimension of wellness that you would like to look into and assess yourself. Okay, so for example, Social. All right. And by the way, I would suggest picking one that you really want to develop more wellness in, because that is going to give you the most meaning out of the assignment that we're doing this week for our SA2. Because SA2 is going to be all about assessing where you are in that dimension of wellness. Give your assessment of yourself in that area, and then you know, kind of describe what's going on, assess that, and then you're going to strategize and come up with what are some things that I can do in order to improve my wellness in this category. We're going to kind of plan that out. We're also going to look at resources that can help you in the promotion of wellness for you in that category. Okay, so that being said, I wouldn't choose the one that you feel like, wow, I really have this, like intellectual wellness. I feel great about this. You know, I feel like, yes, I am being fulfilled intellectually in my life, and I feel really, really strong in that category. Okay, so I wouldn't pick one that you feel the best about, just because you're going to get more meaning out of what we're going to do if you pick one where you really do want to strategize and think about ways that you can improve your wellness in that category. So you will select one of the 6 categories here, and we're only going to work with one category, and that category is completely up to you. One of the 6 that are on here. So after selecting that, here's what you're going to be doing for your essay. You'll have 3 sections for this essay. The first section is that you're going to do a self-assessment. So how am I doing in terms of social wellness or intellectual wellness or whatever it is? Think about examples that can describe or help to show, you know, how you think that you're doing. You're going to rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10 in that category, rate your wellness. 1 being the lowest level, you have the most to improve on that area. You really feel as though your wellness in that area is not satisfactory. 10 being the highest, which again, I wouldn't suggest picking one where you would rate yourself a 10, just because we're going to be thinking about how to improve. So, and for everybody is going to have, every person is going to have areas of these 6 that you would like to improve, and then areas where you feel like you're stronger in those. And some of us may feel like, you know, I really want to improve in all 6. Okay, so select one of the 6. And then what you're going to do is do a self-assessment. So in a couple of paragraphs or so, you're going to describe what's going on. How would you rate yourself, and why? Why do you think that that is? Like, why do you think that your social wellness would be rated this way? What is going on, and what might be the reasons for this current state in wellness in this category for you? So since this is a personal assessment, you're going to be able to use first person pronouns, I, me, my. So you can do that, and keep in mind that I am the only one who's going to be reading this assessment. We're not going to use discussion boards this week, because this is really personal, and I want everybody to feel comfortable to authentically explore this, because it's going to matter a lot more if you feel as though you can be genuine in what you're talking about there, and not necessarily concerned with the class reading it. However, I will be reading that, so do keep that in mind. You do not need to share anything with me that you do not want to share. I am going to be looking at how detailed you are, and how you're supporting your ideas, and how thoughtful you are in this exercise. So when I say detail, I mean, if you were doing physical, let's say you were doing the physical category there, and you say, you know what, I would give myself probably a 3 in this category. And you say something like, I have a bad diet. Okay, that's really broad, and that can mean different things to different people. So when I talk about being detailed, I'm saying really think about what you tend to do with your nutrition, and what's going on and why that is. Well, this could be something like, I eat a lot when I'm stressed, and that especially happens in the evening time, when I will have snacks, and this is probably giving me somewhere around 1,500 calories at night when I eat just for my snack portion, and that's not counting the meals that I had earlier that day. And I tend to go for salty foods that I can have while I watch a movie, in order to kind of lower my stress level. Okay, So really thinking through what I'm just demonstrating there is thinking about your tendencies. What are your tendencies and why are they? I work a night shift, and so because of that, I only have access to the one place that we have access to for food, which only offers high calorie meals that are really filled with ingredients that I shouldn't be eating or whatever it is. So giving some more detail involved in like your personal situation, what's really going on for you in that area of wellness. Then the next section is going to be, okay, since that is the situation as you've described it there, what are 3 to 5 strategies that you can use to help yourself in this area of wellness and to improve your wellness in this area? So this is going to be more like a concrete plan of action instead of saying something like, well, I need a healthier diet. Okay, that may be true, but that's not really helpful yet because we haven't developed it into a specific plan. So I'm going to want you to actually develop a specific plan. If you do work nights, how can you support having a healthy diet? In that case, well, I am going to follow these healthy recipes, and I'm going to meal prep beforehand so that I can take it with me to work or whatever it is. So think about specific strategies that you can do, 3 to 5 strategies for yourself. So for emotional wellness, for example, this could be something like having, some time for de-stress, somewhere where you can de-stress in the day, listening to like a deep breathing exercise video, or a video on breathing or meditation. You could also use meditation and mindfulness or something like the spiritual category. So what are the specific videos, and when do you plan to actually do that in your day? Okay, so also there's going to be challenges, right? Challenges involved. So for example, for something like meal prep, challenges are having the time and making the time to think about what you want to cook, having access to be able to get the foods and cook the foods, and having your equipment that you need, the Tupperware and containers that you're going to need, thinking about how you're going to freeze or refrigerate things, so thinking about your particular challenges. And a challenge for meal prep might be, my family makes really wonderful dinners on Friday, for example, and I don't want to miss out on that. So I need to incorporate that somehow in my meal plan so I don't feel like I'm having to miss out on that. All right, so whatever it is, you're going to develop 3 to 5 strategies for yourself. And then create a collection of at least 3 resources that are supporting your wellness in this category, and write your rationale for selecting each of these sources. So why would these be excellent resources for you? A resource could be something like a podcast. I just saw a great presentation where some students recommended Therapy Thoughts as a podcast for emotional wellness. Now, I have not heard that podcast, but they gave a great rationale and reasoning behind why that is an excellent podcast. Okay, so a podcast series, a local program that we have available, or a community that you want to connect with here, involve like a nonprofit organization or something that does a program that does an activity here. It could even be like a student organization on campus. We've got a lot of student organizations on campus. So if that would help you develop wellness in one of your categories, you could consider a student organization on campus as an option. Particular mentor, somebody in your life who has strong sense of wellness in that category, who can serve as an inspiration, that you can talk with, that can help mentor you. A video series or a book, or even like an academic journal article or something like that. So what are some resources that can support your wellness in that category? So for those, you're going to say why these would be great resources for you. And it's really short, just 75 words or more for each of the 3 sources that you're